This is the world of the campus vets.
22.5 pounds. That's so embarrassing for her.
She's the equivalent of a 300-pound person.
She had her last baby 4 years ago, and she had it very quickly. So I think that when she had it, she might have damaged her cervix.
They've both been sneezing.
I'm worried that perhaps it might turn into a more serious respiratory infection.
At the Western College of Veterinary Medicine, students in the teaching hospital treat a diverse range of species, from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Hedgehog, an African pygmy hedgehog, is getting sedated with anesthetic gas. X-rays will show what is causing a painful mass to grow on her tail.
The mass on this hedgehog's tail is probably one of three things. It could be a healing fracture, it could be an infection if associated with a bone, or it could be a tumor.
Okay.
Staff veterinarian Dr. Denelyn Parker is conducting further tests after Hedgehog's own vet recommended her tail be amputated.
Okay, right side down. Looks good. Everybody out of the room?
Student Christy Jacobson isn't sure how to deal with an animal that has thousands of quills.
This is my first time ever handling a hedgehog, and it makes me very nervous.
Owner Janelle Miller is nervous too.
Strong and regular, so that's...
I'm hoping for the best, that it's nothing serious and that she won't have to undergo operation, because I know that it is pretty serious. They said about 50-50 chance.
If Hedgehog has a tumor, she may lose more than her tail. She could lose her life to cancer. Student Jennifer Dodd is hitting the road as part of a field service rotation.
Today we're going to a farm outside of Saskatoon where they raise alpacas, and we're going to do some pregnancy checking. Look at the little one here.
Resident Dr. Marcelo Martinez is thrilled to see a familiar face.
I come from Argentina and I like them so much. I've been seeing these animals since I was a little kid.
But for student Jennifer Dodd, the South American native of the camel family is foreign territory.
It's something so far outside of my comfort zone sort of thing, because I've dealt mostly with horses and cattle.
Healthy pregnancies would mean a great deal to owner Rick Dirksen and his family-run business.
We own about 170 alpacas, and we raise them for their fleece.
Rick suspects 6 of the females he bred a few months ago are pregnant.
This one we had problems getting pregnant, so...
Oh, okay.
First up is Sierra, whose 3 previous attempts at breeding have failed.
We're touch and go if she's pregnant.
Okay.
After cleaning out any feces to ensure a better view of the uterus, a lubricated probe is inserted.
I personally enjoy ultrasound. I like to see a real-time image as opposed to just a picture, which an X-ray would give you.
Okay, so what we should see is something like this. There you go.
Yeah.
The question on everyone's mind, will Sierra be 4th time lucky? Chloe loves her fast food, but apparently it doesn't love her. The 10-year-old Jack Russell is having trouble urinating. When she does, there are traces of blood. Chloe has a history of bladder stones. Her owner's sister, Delia Balby, rushed her to the emergency clinic.
We're super attached to her. Without her, I think my sister would die.
But it doesn't appear that she's straining.
Intern Dr. Joey Yazer and student Shannon Budiselik examine Chloe. Louisa is too nervous to sit through the exam.
Chloe's my dog. I've had her since she was 8 weeks old, and she's like my best friend.
Apparently, what Chloe wants, Chloe gets. The dog has a passion for cheeseburgers and often eats 2 a day.
My dad and his staff are spoiling her with their own hamburgers and stuff.
Every day.
Yes, daily. It's quite bad. My dad just sort of feels that the dogs are like little children. If we go somewhere for breakfast, we have to order extra sausages and extra bacon. And that's why Chloe's as voluptuous as she is. The last time I remember her skinny was probably 8 years ago.
Okay.
If Chloe does have bladder stones, they could block her urethra, causing serious illness. If left untreated, the condition could eventually cause an early death. A range of tests will help determine if the mass on Hedgehog's tail is a fracture, tumor, or infection. Hedgehog's owner, Janelle, has a strong emotional bond with the tiny creature.
I don't know, she's just so sweet. Like, she's just got such a really sweet little soul, and she's so delicate and like friendly and snuggly. I just love her.
Most of the time we need some anesthetic gas to get them to relax out of their ball. It is very difficult to get a blood sample on a hedgehog. They have tiny, tiny veins.
While they wait for the blood test results, Dr. Parker and the students review the latest x-rays.
If it was a fracture, I would have expected to see more healing going on. So that's maybe causing me to be a little more leaning away from the fracture.
A fracture is ruled out, and there's no sign of infection in the blood sample. The team is closing in on a diagnosis. Dr. Tryon from the medical imaging department offers her assessment.
What are you thinking so far? Do you have any ideas?
Well, since if there's absolutely no draining tract, no sign of trauma, no wound, then tumor would be my main thought. I'm sorry.
Hear that.
I know.
At the Alpaca ranch, the team is about to see if Sierra is pregnant.
You know, oh, okay, that's the baby down there.
There's baby.
This is the embryo?
Now, after this positive result, the breeder is anxious to find out if any of his other alpacas are pregnant.
Oh, this is fluid surrounding the embryo?
They see a heartbeat on the ultrasound screen. Another pregnancy.
Hard things show up more white, and empty things like air will show up black.
The new mother had a baby 6 months ago and was bred again.
And the heart is beating. There you go. That's your baby.
Oh, what are you doing? Good job, Mom.
Good job, Mama.
The last female is 9 years old, half the expected lifespan of an alpaca.
Can't get her pregnant. She had her last baby 4 years ago, and she had it very quickly. So I think that when she had it, she might have damaged her cervix. Give you the best probe, though, that's fine.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Because she's a little overweight, it's very hard to feel where her bladder is.
Chloe loves cheeseburgers, but her fast food diet is making her sick. Not only is she grossly overweight, she may have developed painful bladder stones.
22.5 pounds.
Gosh.
That's so embarrassing for her.
She's the equivalent of a 300-pound person.
Chloe's owners are the source of the dog's weight problem.
And she has burgers pretty much 5 days a week, and breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and cookie time with Dad.
Yeah, he's gonna have to answer to the vet this time, I think.
Chloe has a history of bladder stones, but her symptoms could also indicate a urinary infection. Student Shannon Budaselik and intern Dr. Yeazer search for the source of Chloe's problem.
This little white spot looks suspicious. It looks like possible stones.
This is hard to tell if this is one stone that's this big or a collection of tiny stones. So the next step is we'll get an IV started and give her some IV fluids to keep her hydrated. And ultrasound can give us a much better idea of the number and size of stones and the location. Because she's a little overweight, it's very hard to feel where her bladder is. And here, this black area is the bladder, and this whiter lump right here, more than likely, is one of the stones that we saw on the x-ray.
It's well after midnight, and Chloe came in near the end of a long shift.
We actually analyzed things ourselves, it turned out this particular kind of stone that need to be taken out surgically.
I'm thinking of possibly running another merge pile on her in the morning.
Okay.
Everyone feels pretty tired at this point.
Shannon and Dr. Yazer plan to remove Chloe's bladder stones the next morning.
Okay, kiddo. There you go. You're gonna have a good night.
It's been a full day of rounds and 10 hours on the emergency shift. Shannon will grab a few hours sleep before reporting back for Chloe's procedure.
Okay. Okay to stick? Yep.
Clinical pathologist Dr. Suzette Leclerc removes cells from Hedgehog's tail for further testing.
A little bit.
The team then reviews all the test results.
It says that we are most likely dealing with a mesenchymal tumor. That's what they classified the cells as.
The tumor may or may not be cancerous. Dr. Parker tells resident Dr. Shrubsole that either way, the mass should be removed.
Better to end the problem and take it out than fuss around with it and have ongoing issues. What do you think?
Honestly, what I think, because these guys are such awful anesthetic risks, I think it would be worth waiting another month and rechecking.
Small animals like Hedgehog are a higher risk under the more lengthy general anesthesia needed for surgery.
Now, what if it's inoperable because it enlarges?
What if he dies under surgery tomorrow?
I think it's a decision the owner needs to make.
At the Alpaca Ranch, the veterinary team searches for signs of new life in this aging female. Previous attempts over the past 4 years resulted in a few pregnancies, but none were carried to term.
We tried her again this summer, but she hasn't held her pregnancy.
It looks like she won't be a mother again anytime soon. But breeder Rick Dirksen isn't too disappointed.
But she's 9 now, so I mean, she's already given us 6 babies.
Okay.
But she's done her job.
As for the rest of the pregnant alpacas, their jobs are far from over. The average gestation period is around 1 year.
Today was a big success. We had 6 done and 5 were pregnant. And we've seen the heartbeat on every one, I think, and we're really pleased.
Across town, 2 little kittens can't come out to play.
They've both been sneezing.
Owner Megan Black is just getting to know her kittens since adopting them from a local farm a week ago.
Squirrel seems more aggressive, and Jack White's a little more of the cuddler. They play very well together.
Megan is worried the 3-month-old siblings may have a cold or something worse.
Jack actually had little sneezing fits, several in a row. Today I'm taking them for their first appointment at the vet college. Okay guys, time to go. I do adore them. I'm worried that perhaps it might turn into a more serious respiratory infection.
Coming up, Chloe the cheeseburger-loving dog is shaking all over.
Shake the puppy.
Where's my cheeseburger?
10-year-old Chloe won't be eating cheeseburgers anytime soon. The Paunchy Pooch is about to have some bladder stones removed. The veterinary team hopes they can avoid invasive surgery by removing the stones with a procedure called hydropropulsion.
We're going to place a catheter through her urethra into her bladder and instill some saline in there. We're going to massage her bladder, and then we're going to remove the catheter and see if we can try to expel those stones that are inside of her bladder.
The catheter is in place, and staff veterinarian Dr. Elizabeth Sneed begins the procedure.
Okay, as soon as I get this in, we gotta put her upside down and then agitate her bladder with our pan underneath.
Okay, now here we go, everybody.
Let's just agitate her.
Shake the puppy.
Look at the good rocks we got.
Nice, good work.
Try once more.
We're actually just agitating her bladder again to see if we can get those crystals moving. Ready? And here we go.
They keep trying, hoping to see bladder stones.
Let's go, Chloe. Nice. Beautiful. I think she got them all out. This is what we expelled, and you can see the crystals. And we're going to radiology now to see if we've removed all the stones.
Chloe's owner anxiously awaits any news. Janelle has decided she doesn't want her beloved Hedgehog to risk major surgery.
I don't want her to have to go through it if she doesn't have to, and like with the chances being so slim that she'll pull through, like I guess it's pretty risky. It's pretty upsetting.
I talked to the owner and she agrees that she doesn't want to go to surgery if there are risks involved, so the plan is to take a piece of the tumor out and send it away for histology.
Yay!
Hedgewood is sedated for the biopsy on her tail.
Hopefully this wedge biopsy will give us an answer as to what's going on. If it's a tumor, it'll hopefully tell us if it's a bad tumor or one that's not likely to cause many problems, and then we need to decide what's next.
I got a good chunk, and I felt like I was getting bone, like you could feel the bone once you hit it, so we'll see.
The mass is too close to the rectum. Total amputation of the tail is no longer an option.
We wouldn't be able to amputate just straight down here because then we would be removing his anus as well.
If we didn't have to worry about anything underneath, I think we would easily be able to take off her mass. Not a good surgical candidate.
No. If it's something that we can leave alone and it's not going to affect the long-term lifespan of this hedgehog, then we'll probably just leave it. If it's a bad tumor that's likely to spread, then we'll be more inclined to go in and take it out.
All right, here's your girl.
I really missed her and thought about her a lot and how she was doing and what the outcome was going to be. I hope that everything works out good.
I'm tired.
I'm so glad to see her.
A few days later, good news for Janelle. The tumor is not cancerous. Janelle decides to keep an eye on Hedgewood and report back if the lump grows. One hedgehog outgoing, 2 kittens incoming.
I've brought my 2 kittens to the vet college today so that they can be looked at for their sneezing and running eyes.
Which one's which?
The one with the gray on her nose is Squirrel,
okay,
female, and then this is Jack White.
Okay.
Owner Megan Black also wants little Jack White and his sister Squirrel to have their first vaccinations.
They could very likely already have what we're vaccinating them against.
Okay.
The things that we routinely vaccinate kitties for is viral infections of the upper respiratory tract, things that cause sneezing.
Hi, Jack.
Student Jaren Sheck examines the kittens before consulting with the on-call veterinarian.
She brought them in for ocular discharge and sneezing.
Intern Dr. Rory Weens checks out tiny Jack White.
He has a little, like he does cough a little bit or respond when you're palpating his larynx. Squirrel didn't at all, so.
Owner Megan Black is surprised to find out that her kittens have much more than a common cold.
The signs that you're seeing, we're thinking that they probably relate to the herpes virus.
Oh.
Chloe is recovering from the procedure to remove her bladder stones. She's ready to trade in an Elizabethan collar for her custom-made original. X-rays confirm that all of the stones are gone. Chloe must follow a strict new diet to prevent a recurrence of bladder stones.
This type of bladder stones is really prone to come back. They're very tricky to get rid of all the way.
Owner Louisa Balby has warned Chloe's cheeseburger days must end.
You're giving what she wants. I'm sure she loves it. I'd like to eat cheeseburgers every day too. But when you see, what we had to do to get the stone out of her bladder, it's not nice for her. And I think ultimately it's really going to shorten her life and be the biggest health problem she has. So we'll get your dog back. She's going to be really excited.
Happy to see you. We'll just have to change, like I said. But I'm happy to get her back. Hi, Chloe. Thanks. Hi. You excited? Good girl.
At the human equivalent of 300 pounds, it's time for Chloe to lose some weight. Intern Dr. Rory Weens and student Jaron Sheck discuss their findings with the sneezing kitten's owner, Megan Black.
But the signs that you're seeing, we're thinking that they probably relate to the herpes virus.
Oh.
The reason we're thinking the herpes virus is because they lack some of the signs that are often seen with the other viruses.
We'll vaccinate them and bring them right back.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you. That was a bit of a surprise, and just hearing the word herpes virus was like, oh, I didn't know cats got that too.
Well, I think the reason that it sounds scary for humans is we associate it with the bad herpes. Your cold sores are herpes virus, right? And those really aren't a big deal either. What this kitten had would be similar to a cold sore. There we go.
A few hours later, the frisky felines are back at home and at play.
I'm just relieved that there's nothing too serious going on, and I'm glad they've had their first shots and everything's on track.